if you remember, we're using app section header and app page header components to represent headings of sections and pages. In this case, we're using app section header component to show this heading, and if we'll open up playlists page and inspect this heading, here we're using different component called app page header, but those two components are pretty similar, so we can even combine those two components into one and reuse it in all those places where we need to show section or page headings. I'm gonna open up both of those components in the editor, app page header as well as app section header, and if you check the markup of those components, it is indeed pretty similar. So now we're going to combine those two components. So we'll start with adding additional prop called type to decide which type of heading we should display. It will be either page or section heading. This prop will be optional, so I'm also going to assign default value for this prop, which will be section, meaning that if we're going to use this app section header component without passing prop type, we will render section heading by default. But that's not it, because depending on the type of the heading that we have to show, these styles that we are assigning to h1 or h2 elements will be different. So I'm going to create constant heading classes where we'll store classes that have to be assigned to the heading tag. And first of all, I'm going to specify all those classes that have to be used all the time, no matter which type of heading we're showing. So those classes will be text center to center the text within the heading, and dark text white to make color of this heading white when using dark theme. And the rest of classes will be determined by using this ternary expression. So if prop type is equal to page, we'll have to assign only those classes that have to be used on page headings. Let's take those classes from app page header component and use them right here. Otherwise, we're going to show completely different list of classes that are intended to be used only for section headings, and these classes we can take from this list. And now that we have decided which classes to assign to the heading, let's also decide which classes to assign to the subheading. Let's do the same thing. I'm going to create subheading classes constant, and first of all I'm going to assign those classes that have to be used every time on the subheading. And if you'll take a closer look at this list of classes in this component, as well as inside of app page header component, we'll see that there are also a couple more classes that are the same, such as SM text LG and dark text gray 300. Let's move these classes right here. And after that, we're going to use that same ternary expression to decide which specific classes have to be assigned to the particular heading type. In the first list, we're passing those classes only for page headings. Let's take these classes from app page header component. And in the second list of classes, we're passing section heading classes. And now that we are decided on classes, it's time to decide which HTML tag to render for the particular heading type. So if prop type will be equal to page, we're going to render h1 element. Otherwise, we're going to render h2 tag. And of course, let's not forget and pass all that list of classes that is intended to be used on the heading. It is contained within heading classes constant. And for this subheading, it will be easier because in this case, we don't have to use any conditional directives on this element. The only thing that we have to do is to actually apply subheading classes to this P element, like so. And that's about it. So we no longer have to use app page header component time to remove it. I'm gonna open up this component and remove it. Next up, let's go through all those places where we have previously used app page header component and replace usage of this component with app section header component. But in addition to it, we'll also have to pass prop called type and say that in this particular case, we have to render page heading instead of section heading. So this is the heading used on the playlists page. As you can see in Vue DevTools, this component is now represented by app section header instead of app page header component. And if we'll open up the page of the individual playlist, currently there is no heading displayed because we still have to open up this component and change usage of app page header component and use app section header instead, with passing additional prop type that will be equal to page. And there we go, the heading is back on the playlist page and it's represented by app section header component. And as for all those places where we were using app section header components before, they don't have to be changed at all. As you can see, app section headers are still properly shown. Link to the source code of this project will be in the video description.